Welcome to another art club. Today we are going to be creating magic and doodles. You're going to need heavy paper, watercolor paint, water in a jar, your paintbrushes, pencil, eraser, black marker. But as always, use what you've got. Let's get started. I like to start by making a puddle of water in the middle of my page. This is an irregular puddle. I just dip my paintbrush in the water and put it on the page. And then I set a challenge to myself. Within this blob, can I represent every color? So I want every color in my rainbow to be added to this blob. Roy G. Biv. Now, I like to blend mine in that order as much as possible to blend colors that are next to each other in the color spectrum together. But you are your own artist, so how are you going to do this? Add some splatters, add some character, and set it aside to dry. Once it's dry, start to look at it. What magic can you find here? I started by majorly overthinking this one. I was trying to draw a unicorn. I was getting frustrated because it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. I was trying to find something in my imagination. And as an adult trying to reclaim her imagination, I found whenever I try to force it, it's not a good thing. So I picked up my black pen, my trusty black pen, and I thought, what's an easy thing I can start with to get myself into the mood of magic for this creative magic picture? And I started by making clouds. Except these clouds aren't just any clouds, they are magical clouds. They're full of creativity and ideas. And they're swirling all around this picture, and they're going to get it started. They're going to start my inspiration, hopefully, kickstart my imagination. And it totally worked. So I started by just being mindful and reminding myself that this was just for fun. And you can totally start there rather than sketching out your whole picture with a pencil. You can just start doodling. And that's when the magic started. I was really feeling inspired and I was having fun and I had good music on. And I began to feel that creative magic, which is the whole point of this piece. You're not trying to create anything specific, you're trying to tap into your creative magic. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. That's not what it's about. It's about doing the darn thing. And once I'd made the cloud, the unicorn started to take shape. I looked at pictures of horses and I did a very rudimentary sketch, and I still wasn't sure if it was good enough. If this beautiful magical unicorn was beautiful and magical enough. And as I worked on her, I kept reminding myself this is just for fun. Doesn't matter what your unicorn looks like. She is going to be exactly as she needs to be. And you did it right because you tried. And the more I reminded myself of that, the easier this got. So, whatever magical creature or magical image you decide to put into this magical doodle, I want you to keep that in mind. It's not about the finished product, it's about tapping into your imagination. So, when you're doing this project, before you start drawing and getting into your head, just take a minute to look at your paint blob. What shapes do you see? And if you were using your imagination and anything was possible, anything could be in there, what comes to mind? What does your imagination want to create? And you can always just spend time making magical textures. So the swirly clouds. This was kind of a emanation of magic from the unicorn. I wasn't actually sure what it was. I just started making fun textures. And you'll see that I jump around. So I'm making the dots on the unicorn. And when I start to see maybe I'm being negative in my head or I'm losing my focus, I switch to another part of the picture. And really, I didn't have a plan other than keep drawing. And then I was thinking, I really love flowers. I find them so magical. So I added a flower in. I have a spiral flower tutorial if you're wondering how to do these step by step. And you can find the link to that video in the description for this video. So if you want to add flowers to yours, I got you. But whatever it is that your inner artist wants to create, remember it's not going to look like mine because you and I are different artists. But the whole point of this is to tap into what your imagination looks like. What a question, hey? Do we ever think of what your imagination looks like? It can look like whatever you want it to because it's your imagination. So, doodle, make hearts, make stars, make whatever shapes. See, those are the shapes from my imagination. So, that's what comes to my mind. But make whatever shapes and textures and lines come to your mind. Ask your inner artist, what do I want to create? And then don't question it. Don't second guess it. Just allow your inner artist to surprise you. This video is called Magic and Doodles. And that's because I discovered that there is some magic in just allowing yourself to draw something that is beautiful to you and doesn't have to make sense. So, are there roses floating in space next to unicorns? Maybe not in this reality, but in my imagination, there could be. And I tried experimenting with the colored pens here, and my inner artist went, no. Maybe your inner artist wants you to add colored pens. That is something you get to discover as you create your own version of Magic and Doodles. Now, a note on the drawing part. Your Magic and Doodles does not have to have anything that looks like anything in particular. Sometimes the magic is in just seeing how that bold black pen looks over color, seeing the kinds of lines that you like to create. Now, if you do want to create something specific, like your imagination is giving you a specific idea, you have two ways you can do it. You can just draw it as it is in your imagination, or you can look for real life inspiration. So I wasn't sure how to go about drawing a unicorn. So I looked at a picture of a horse and then I said, okay, well, unicorns are in the realm of my imagination anyway. So I'll use this as a guide just to get the general face shape, where the ears are. And then I closed the picture down and used my imagination, which is a lot more fun and relaxing. It also allows space for your inner artist to express themselves, and that's important. Let's go over those steps one more time. Start with your irregular splatter shape in watercolor. Let it dry fully. Look at it, find some magic, see what sparks in your imagination. You can draw very lightly with pencil and erase things you don't want to very gently if that works for you, or just start doodling because what's the worst that could happen? Go over your picture in black marker and remember to stay kind in your head while you're doing this. Thank you so much for creating with me and have a beautiful day.